Hello guys, welcome to my journey. So I had a blast in Canada. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed its water and I enjoyed the company that I had when I was there. You know, met a new friend. Um, yeah, like people of Canada are beautiful people, both in, I guess, looks and personality. And when I woke up at the rest stop in Washington, I had a note someone put on there. I guess like they kind of snuck it in while I was asleep. The guy was, name is Jeff. He actually was, he lived in lummi territory of the Lummi tribes. And he wrote a letter that he's had a hatch for me for my vehicle since I busted the hatch to save my dog, and I didn't have any money to get a locksmith. But before I did that, I decided to go back to the peace gates to do some meditation in order to recalibrate, but I end up accidentally taking the wrong exits and ended up back in Canada. Of course, I explained to them about I wasn't trying to go through here. It was a mistake. They understood and they rerouted me back. And I went to the food bank and they had when I was waiting in the line, I connected with a few people there named Amanda, Hope, and Elizabeth. And I was just really talking, a lot of them were kind of going through some hardships, but I told them, I explained about my little journey, and they were really surprised about how I was handling things. And I think it's just my realization to life that, we're all connected, we're all one. Life is always going to bring in what you need the most, not what you want. It's not there to punish you. It's there to teach you something about yourself. And once you overcome that, you're going to become more resilient than ever. I always feel like I'm doing a tarot card reading right now. Yeah, after I got my goods, Elizabeth was kind enough to share some of her goods with me since she had plenty. And of course, some of the stuff I had to, they were time sensitive, so I pretty much, spoiled sugar, which is I need to do real soon. And before I left, and when I was talking about my connection with life and how I just appreciate it, even if I'm in a situation where I live in my vehicle, to my surprise, I saw Amanda coming up with tears. She told me how much she really appreciated, my words. She hugged me. She even gave me some money, and I was really very appreciative about that. And then I met another person at the gas station. We were talking about, connection with consciousness, and we just had a conversation about it for a long time, and all those people ended up following me on YouTube and Instagram. I stopped by the Ashtahan Baba Ke Sikh Gurudwara. I took a picture with a guy named PJ, but I dropped some food off as an offering to show my appreciation to those guys. I meditated and chanted Waheguru 9 times, or at least I think so. And I finally met up with Jeff at Illumination. It was kind of hard to find it, and those reservations, unfortunately, they're not really. I kind of felt they're really run down, And I really wish we would treat the natives with more respect and, give them better quality, space to reside in. Maybe one day, maybe when I become president or something, if that day comes. Jeff, I met up with Jeff finally. He couldn't, he thought he had a hatch for me, ended up not having one. But the good news was, he told me I can stay there as much as I want, which I did really appreciate that. I remember drawing an oracle card called Persist. To me, this is a balance of where my journey goes. And then the moon, and it's funny because when I draw the tarot card, the moon, it just so happened to be a full moon that day. And I decided to relax on my journey. I trust my intuition. Everyone has my gratitude. I really appreciate what life has thrown towards me during this journey. It was definitely a lot to learn about myself. I almost felt like I awakened to a new person after I left Canada. But I guess just, going to another country just kind of puts me in that state of being. Of course, this day was July 11th. Today, no, not today. The next day was July 12th. Woke up more rested than usual. Felt a little moody, but somehow felt more clarity, calm afterwards. Used the bathroom, dump off Illumination's trash, then went back to Jeff's. I just pretty much hanging out all day to that day. Did some video recordings of myself. I stretch, I feel much better. Do this at least 3 times a day. Oracle card was Faith. I do not know why, but I feel like I have already done this card, but oh well. If we did, we'll do it again. I have faith in life and God Himself, or consciousness, divine self, or whatever name you want to put on there. I love all, and I'm grateful for what has happened to me. It's very important for us to, show our appreciation to life, especially during our journey, because it could always be worse. And if we put ourselves in that state of mind that we're in the worst, life is not going to be able to bring in the things that we want, or when it does, we won't see it because we're too closed off. Just like when I took the leap of faith and surrendered myself to life, it always unfolds the way it's supposed to. The sun. Kind of curious if Jeff will let me stay another day. I do feel a strong love with myself and others. Feel like I'm creating success with my content, as I have increased with 6 subscribers and over 2K views on a post. Oh yeah, I remember I had a post not on Instagram but on Thread, all those, I had a bunch of Canadian people out there. I posted about my stay in Canada. They wanted me to return back. I don't even know these people, and I had 2K views and over 200 likes, and it made me really appreciate it. I think it's kind of a joke that we have borders with Canada. I don't even understand that. I feel like we should have just like how Europe has the European Union. I think we should have something like that. Either be part of that union or be a part of or create an American Union or a United Nations Union. I think it's silly to, you have to have visas. I feel like if anyone wants to live somewhere, they can live as they want, as long as they're mindful of not endangering themselves or others. I have planted the seeds and they're sprouting in the sunlight. I already feel successful at this. Of course, now, I can't believe my channel already grew so much. I had 6 subscribers and now I have almost 150, or I have 144 right now. I definitely felt grateful. I helped Jeff cut up some wood and metal just for, he let me allow to stay another night. And the next morning, I remember like it's freaked me out because apparently the Lummi people were up all night on July 13th, lighting up fireworks, and I was hearing like Native American war cries. You know, it just like freaked me out. I was like, what in the heck is going on? And why are they allowed to do that? Apparently in Lummi Nation, you know, that's one of the, I guess, things that they're allowed to do. It's just to pop fireworks all night, and there's nothing we can do about it. You know, you can't call the cops and say, hey, I have a noise complaint, because that's just one of their rights. And I respect that. And I remember waking up that morning. I remember some guy he was talking to, he wasn't speaking Spanish. It's definitely, I guess, like he looked, I mean, honestly, he looked Native American, but he was speaking, I don't know, the Lummi language. But he was definitely speaking a language I never heard of or understood. I remember charging my phone. He replied back. I helped him go to the store, get some parts, and go to the grocery store. He gave me 2 bananas and $26. I dropped him off, took a picture together, then I left to head south. I decided to stop by in the park, close to the Sikh temple. I worked up motivation to do recordings of myself. Though the first one went smooth, like at this point, like I'm not even like trying to overthink about it. I'm just going to record myself and whatever I'm doing. And if people are watching this and enjoy it, I'm truly grateful of it. And if you guys think I need to improve something on my videos, just leave a comment down below. It's just easier for me to like look down and just read off what I have. I don't really like to try and memorize things. Yeah, I kept on doing recordings and recordings and overthinking about it. Maybe I can learn from one and make a better one. Let's see what tomorrow brings. After I left part, went to Sikh temple. There was a lot of people there. Different foods than normal. I ate very deliberately because I did not want to leave Sugar by herself. We stopped at another park for a bit. Then head back to Lake Padden, or at least I think how it's spelled. Too tired to care. Met some interesting people. Least free trail. Names are Rochelle, Kevin, Karen, C, and the dog Max. They were kind people. We talked about Washington area and how beautiful the state is. We also talked about other places that I'm too tired to remember. I did some recordings. Also, they follow me on YouTube. I made a milestone, went from 1 subscriber to 11 in a couple of days. I'm grateful for what life has done for me. Now, Sugar and I are very tired now, and it's time for us to rest. I forgot Oracle card today. Curious. You can say I was curious about our exploration, both same and new areas of life. From familiar parks to new ones. Tarot card of the day was judgment, self-judgment, renewal, truth, forgiveness. The past, I do feel like a lot of past, though, surfacing upward, especially with someone in the family. That is very manipulative. I realize that he is no longer doing that or going to bother me. Also, judgment shows me the fruits of my labor, especially with YouTube. And I guess I'm going to just hold it off on this one. I've kind of read a couple of these through. And I guess the biggest takeaway here, I mean, you don't need oracle cards, but I just use tarot cards and oracle cards to kind of help me, because I do get these negative intrusive thoughts, but when I have that, that kind of helps me focus on, those qualities of life. And to me, during my journey, like that's what it taught me, is just to appreciate what I have in front of me. Because, one day, I'm not going to have that. So, and if anyone's on their little journey in life, just let you know you're not alone. You're not by yourself. If you need someone to talk to, just comment down below and I'll chat with you. And of course, the only people I'm not going to chat with is people back at home. I know that sounds like, okay, that contradicts, but I'm not going to go into much detail with that. I don't think anyone's bad back at home, but I'm not going to sit there and talk about every little detail or overly explain myself towards those people. But if you're new and you're new to my channel, please feel free to chat with me. And also too, I love you guys. Thank you for being part of my journey. See you in the next one.